Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you how I made this carrot cake here. It is so easy and yet so delicious. I'll show you how I made this and also the classic cream cheese frosting to go with it. So if you're interested in watching how I made this cake, just stay tuned and keep watching. Here are all the ingredients I'll be using, and I know it's a little fast, but don't worry, I got you covered in the description box. Just go ahead and look there and I'll leave details on the full measurements and ingredients that we'll be using today. So first, this is optional. I'm going to go ahead and add all of my carrots into a small food processor, and that just finely will process my carrots so that they're not as visible in the cake. But again, that is optional. A classic carrot cake usually has pieces of carrots that you can see, but this process is just to minimize the size of the carrots, that's all. I'm adding my final bits of carrots here. I'm going to blend those up and then we'll move on to the next step. Add your carrots back into their bowl, and then from here I'm going to start adding all of my wet ingredients. Now most people may add their wet ingredients minus the carrots and then add the carrots at the very end, but here I just wanted to combine all of my wet ingredients in one bowl and then all my dry ingredients in a separate bowl. So into the carrots I'm going to add my eggs gradually, and then from there we're going to add all of the wet ingredients. Once all of my wet ingredients are incorporated, I did add cinnamon to this step as well because I like for my carrots, and that makes sure to take on the cinnamon flavor. So I added it here, but you can add it to your dry ingredients if you want, and just give that a thorough mix before we move on to the next step. To my wet ingredients, the last step I'll be adding are 2 cups of brown sugar. I added them in a half a cup at a time, but just add 2 cups of brown sugar, and then instead of whisking it like I tried to, go ahead and get your standing mixer or your hand mixer and give that a thorough mix as well. Yeah, because this whisk was not working. Set that to the side and let's start working on the dry ingredients. So in a medium-sized mixing bowl, you're going to add your flour, and then you're going to add your spices and baking powder and all of that stuff. So add all your dry ingredients to a bowl and give that a good mix. Combine your dry and your wet ingredients into a large bowl and mix. As you can see, the bowl I chose was very small, so I just switched to my larger bowl and mixed that fully until all of my flour was fully incorporated. You're just mixing until you don't see any more flour. And you can see here I added another 2 tablespoons of flour, and that's just because the batter was a little more runny than I would like. So if you need to add more flour, add them in about a tablespoon or 2 at a time. So here we're going to grease both of our 9-inch cake pans with some oil and line them both with parchment paper. And then we will add the cake batter to each of the pans, dividing them evenly as you can. If you have a scale, you can use that. I'm not using one, I'm just eyeballing. So divide them as evenly as possible. And then we're going to bake these in a 350-degree oven for 28 to 30 minutes, or when a toothpick comes out clean for both of them, then they are ready. Our cakes are done, so we're going to let those cool for about an hour in the pans, and then we're going to get started on this delicious cream cheese frosting. For this, you're going to need 16 ounces total of cream cheese. It should be room temperature so that you can actually work with it. And then we need a stick of unsalted room temperature butter as well. Add your vanilla, and we're going to mix these on a medium to low speed. And yeah, when those are fully incorporated, we'll start adding our sugar. Once my cream cheese and butter mixture are fully mixed in, I'm going to gradually start adding my powdered sugar. Here I'm adding 1/2 cup at a time, and then I'm going to mix that on a low speed until it's fully incorporated. Once that's mixed in, I'm going to actually add 1 cup here. I didn't use any more than 2 cups and a tablespoon. That was enough for me. So my suggestion for this recipe is use 2 cups minimum starting there, and then if you need more from there, you can add a tablespoon at a time. So mix that in with your mixer until all of the powdered sugar is mixed in, and then we are ready to start decorating our cake. After my cakes have been cooling for around an hour, I release them from their pan, and then I'm going to transfer them over to a wire rack so that they can cool for about 15 more minutes before we start putting the cake together. And we are ready to start frosting our cake. So here, as you can see, I've laid out my first cake layer and I'm starting to frost it. Keep in mind that the cream cheese frosting, once you add sugar to it, it's going to become a little bit runny. So just be careful when you are frosting this cake. For the sake of time, I didn't get a chance to put mine in the refrigerator to cool a little bit after the crumb coat. So if you have time, I suggest that you put it in the refrigerator or freezer to cool for about 15 minutes after the first layer, and then start frosting again from there. Once you are done frosting your cake, you can go ahead and decorate it however you choose to. I just had chopped walnuts on hand that I needed to use, so I went ahead and used those for a simple decoration. And this is ready to be cut into. Keep in mind that it's better if you refrigerate it so that the icing can firm up a little bit. but due to the sake of time, I did not have time to put mine in the refrigerator, so I'm cutting into it now for you. But just be very careful if you don't let it chill first. This cake was so delicious. If you guys are looking for a simple and easy carrot cake, I promise you will not be disappointed with this recipe. Give this recipe a try if you are willing to, and let me know what you think about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.